Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Heavy Repping. My name is John Tron Davidson, and I'm here once again in our super best, slightly larger than normal test location in the southwest of England. So I've been spending a lot of time recently thinking about the Jazz 3 XL. This is my favourite pick shape as a general rule, and today what I thought I would do is take you through 5 different examples of alternatives to this incredible piece of equipment. Now, of course, in a little tribute to the previous video on the Jazz 3, I have decided to include a 6th option. I had some stuff that I really wanted to put in. So this is going to be the top 5 or 6 alternatives to Dunlop's Jazz 3 XL. Before we get started though, I'd like to give this week's shout out to Art As Catharsis Records, who are a magnificent record label in Australia, put out all sorts of stuff, run by a guy called Lachlan Dale, who's in Serious Beak, who are pretty special, and is also now in Hashshashin, who put out some stonking records in the last few years. He also runs Worlds Within Worlds Records, so if you're interested in music, particularly from the Far East, do go and check out his stuff at the link in the description. So the picks we're going to go through today are as follows: the Crow's Customs Claw XL, the Stone Age Picks Pvrpetrator, the Riki Plectrier Bone Skull, the Zen Kukri, the Anatomy of Sound Jazz XL, and the Apophis Standard. So I'm going to start off with a pick I've been getting an awful lot out of recently, and that is this. This is the Crow's Customs Claw XL. Now this is a model that Liam didn't originally offer. This was a custom order for moi. It is made from Tagawa, it's 3mm thick, and it is an almost identical shape to the Jazz 3 XL. It's a little wider and less pointed at the tip. It's ridiculously good. It's lacquered on the outside to give it a little bit more grip. I've used this so much I can't even tell you, it is smashing. It does click a little bit and give a little bit of chirp when you're using it on acoustic, but as I'm predominantly an electric player, I really can't recommend it highly enough. So, in the interests of enterprise, let's stick it through the stick and see how she sounds. If you're anywhere near this channel and anywhere near the Plectroverse as a whole, I would be very surprised if you're not aware of Matt Halliday at Stone Age and the work that he's been doing. Certainly all you jaunty boys who've been chonking away on your headless axes will be more than aware of these. The Pvrpetrator is one of my favourites. Now, Matt doesn't name all of his models, or any of his models, they're just in 2 sizes essentially, but I think it's fun to name things and it helps me identify a little bit more with these picks. So in the modern guitarist tradition, this is the Pvrpetrator. I think this one is clocking in at about 40. This is 3.8mm of agate. I've got a lot of Matt's stuff, most of it in the Jazz XL size, however this is by far and away my favourite. There's just something about the way it's cut and the weight of it that makes it feel super good, breathy. It's excellent for playing heavier styles because of the note separation and the certain sense of grandeur that you get with it. Bellissima. Disappointingly not made from human bone, this Riki Le Plectrier skull is made from bone. I would guess it's probably bovine bone, which is the most common type. Now, Riki makes some outrageous stuff, and I've talked about him on here before. If you go on his Instagram, which is down here, you'll be able to see all of the stuff, the steampunk series he makes with titanium, which are just breathtaking things. However, this is excellent. Honestly, I couldn't believe when it turned out, because I was thinking he did a black Altex one, which I also have, and I thought I would prefer the Altex one more. Ladies and gentlemen, it's bone, and the lettering is something called Cillian Rail. Like all the Riki stuff, it's perfectly finished. There's genuine craft going into these. He's even bothered to put little cheekbones on the skull, so, you know, proper stuff. Let's whack it through the thing, see how we go. Brand new maker now, coming from the United Kingdom. Fandabidozi. This is the Kukri from Zen Picks. It's made from Kironite this time, which is a toughened acrylic with polypaper swirls going through it. Now, Duncan, who makes these, was heavily inspired by an old Japanese poem that he found from I think it was 1887, and it's so beautifully packaged. Genuinely, out of all the stuff that's here today, I have to say this is the most this was the most impressive arrival, let's say. It came in this incredible packaging that you can see behind me. It is very similar in terms of length and breadth to the Jazz XL, but there's something kind of longer about it. That seems to be part of his style. His katana looks very like that as well, reminding me a little bit of the Iron Age Fenrir's Fang, while not really being anything like it. This is quite a hefty old bird, but he's 3.6mm, but he has done really severe tapers on the side. It really does chop off quite sharply. The pronounced ridge gives it a little more of a breathy quality. It reminds me a little bit of some of the sharper Gravity stuff, but it's got a very serious sound to it, as I'm about to demonstrate. Moving on now to easily the most flexible plectrum here in terms of its physical nature. This is the Anatomy of Sound Jazz. Those of you who have seen these online will probably be thinking about the buttocks one, but I'm gonna move on from that and talk about these as as an actual plectrum, because what Larry's done here is something genuinely interesting. This measures in at 1.6, 1.7 sort of thickness at the top, and then the bottom part is 1mm. These come in a variety of thicknesses and materials and so on. However, it's the white one that I've enjoyed the most. It's incredibly soft feeling. The actual texture of it is very soft, and I normally review picks that are super rigid here. So it was nice to find something that genuinely does have quite a bit of flex. Now, these grip very well, but they've got a particular sort of quite upright sort of sound to them, and I found this was really good on acoustic, but for the sake of comparison, and because we're talking about the Jazz XL, I'm going to put it on the electric today, so pay special attention to the clean sounds. Here is the Anatomy of Sound, Heartbeat Jazz. Beaming in all the way from outer space from the cartouche on Abydos, this is the Apophis standard. Now, I saw these ages ago on Instagram, and I've been talking to their creator for some time, even talking him through his shipping process, and I'm chuffed to bits with these. Now, I play a lot of picks that are acrylic. It's a very common material in the industry. You've got V-picks and Gravity and all the rest of it. However, there's something about the approach to this that makes it an oddly engaging experience. Now, I can't quite put my finger on what this is. It seems, I don't know what sort of acrylic he's using. There are some very slight variations. It's generally how you handle the bevels and all that sort of stuff. The top and bottom of this, like the front and back, are completely flat. There's no undulations, there's no rise and fall, it's just... However, he's cut these wee recesses into the front of it and the eyes and stuff. There is some variance in these. The battle-worn series look like they've been hit with meteors, and he fills the eyes in, which in truth I do prefer. However, I've been taking this one to work and playing it quite a bit recently. It's ace. Genuinely. I know I sound terribly surprised, but it's the fact that when it arrived, I immediately thought, that's really cool, it looks really good, I wonder how it'll, probably play okay, whatever. Awesome. Awesome. It's the most urgent of all the stuff that's here. There's a real sort of sense of adventure that goes along with it. Now, I know this sounds terribly esoteric in the realm of picks, but actually that is the case. It's the same with any piece of musical equipment. So far from just getting excited about it all the time, let's get the gear out, see how she sounds. If I was to opine briefly about the Jazz XL and why I think it's so good, I like the fact that it's small in the 351, so it doesn't feel so floppy. There's more of a point to it, so it goes through the strings a lot better, in my opinion. And it's bigger than the Jazz 3, which I didn't grow up playing, and I feel very weird about it. I fully acknowledge the Little King and how important the Jazz 3 is. I've even gone and written a whole article about it online, and the 351's legacy is not in dispute here. I'm simply talking about my particular personal fervour for this shape, because I think it's the business. So I hope this has been of help to you if you're looking for alternatives to the Jazz 3 XL. I think it's a killer shape, does a lot of things. If you want to know any more about any of the companies, you can go to their links in the description below. If you want to ask me anything about it, because I have many other options here in my thing, all of the information for all of the companies is in the link in the description, and I'll be back next week with some more fantabulous news from the Plectroverse. In the meantime, my name is John Tron Davidson, this is Heavy Repping, and I shall see you soon. So just remember, if you're not sure what to do in life, rep hard and rep heavy.